Okay, we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with this evening's live stream, 7:40 p.m. It is the 25th of November, almost at the end of another month, the month of November, coming to an end shortly. 5 more days to go, of course. I'm a little bit under the weather this evening. I have a cold. Caught it off my son, so not feeling the best, but we'll see if we can get through the live stream tonight unscathed, as they say. Looking at some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the press, some comments that have been left on the channel by you guys, the viewers, in recent times, and we'll go into the chat section if I'm still alive around the 18-minute mark of this evening's live stream to see what's bubbling away in that live chat section. Straight into the news, and bad news for Venezuelans who are trying to get back to their country of origin at the moment from Spain, because flights have been suspended temporarily because of everything that's going down in that part of the world between Donald Trump and Mr. Maduro, or Mr. Ripe, if you like. We can see here that passengers to Venezuela have been stranded at Madrid Airport as airlines suspend all flights. Hundreds of passengers bound for Venezuela have been left stranded at Madrid's Barajas Airport after all airlines operating the Madrid Caracas route cancelled their flights. Iberia announced on Monday that it is suspending services until the 1st of December, citing operational concerns. Air Europa and Plus Ultra quickly followed, stating they will only resume flights when conditions are appropriate, without giving dates. The Venezuelan carrier Estelar has also cancelled departures scheduled for this week. Around 100 affected travellers spent the night in Terminal 1, many without accommodation, food or clear instructions. Passengers report a complete lack of support from the airlines, with no staff present and no alternative arrangements offered. Some, including young children, slept on the floor while relying on their own money for basic food. With only 5 days until December, many now fear being stranded indefinitely. Travellers are demanding responsibility from the airlines and urgent assistance. So the only thing that I can say for the people stranded in Madrid is sorry that you are in this situation because of what's happening between the two countries, meaning that flights are being suspended because they don't want to take the risk with those B-52 bombers flying around the place. If you watch the Venezuelan news, it's all over the Venezuelan news at the moment, and also other aircraft that have the ability to destruct whatever is in their way. And of course, these passenger planes being suspended out of caution not to get caught up in this possible conflict, because basically we don't know what's going on. We hear what Trump is saying, that the Venezuelan government is a criminal organization, according to Mr. Trump and company, led by Marcos Rubio, I think. He obviously has some type of problem with Venezuela, and a lot of effort going into trying to, what's the word I'm looking for here, trying to discredit Venezuela in order to perhaps get them to succumb to the United States' power. I don't know what's going on there. Interesting times we're living with, different conflicts around the world. The Israel-Palestinian conflict seems to have disappeared from the press, and this one has taken over. So we'll see if the poor Venezuelan people, because there is quite a large diaspora of Venezuelans living here in Spain, probably one of the biggest diasporas in the world of Venezuelans. I imagine Colombia has lots as well, United States and other surrounding countries, but here in Spain, of course, lots of people have made the move out of Venezuela to Spain and would be looking to get back for Christmas, I suppose, or to spend that Christmas holiday period with family and loved ones, but they can't do it at the moment. Second piece of news here, and Brussels has warned Spain over a lack of budget plan and critical poverty and employment levels. Are we talking about Spain or Venezuela? Spain is one of only 2 EU countries that have not submitted a budget plan to Brussels, the European Commission has warned in its autumn European semester report. Unlike Belgium, which has just approved a multi-year fiscal roadmap, Spain has again failed to present its accounts, leaving it close to being the only EU country without a budgetary plan. The Commission also highlights 2 areas it considers critical: employment and poverty. Although Spain's labour market continued to improve in 2024, its employment rate reached only 71.4%, far below the EU average of 75.8%. Brussels warns that, despite strong economic growth, this gap now places Spain in the highest risk category. In social terms, 25.8% of the population remains at risk of poverty or social exclusion, rising to 34.6% among children, both significantly above EU averages. The Commission also cautions that Spain may exceed its agreed limit on net public spending. So, critical poverty and employment levels. Well, the employment levels we have known about for a long time here in Spain. Spain has always struggled when it comes to employment, finding jobs for its citizens. And of course, now we add critical poverty into the mix as well. And you could be mistaken. Be mistaken if you thought that we were talking about another country and not a European country. But of course, those are the warnings coming out of Brussels. Get your budgets in order, get your poverty levels down, and get people into jobs. Your economy might be doing well, but not everybody is benefiting if 34.6% of children in the country are at risk of poverty, as we saw in this article here. And 25.8% of the population remains at risk of poverty or social exclusion. That's what we're dealing with at the moment here in Spain. The economy's booming, but those are the figures, according to that newspaper and also other reports. Some more good news, and Spain's biggest company, or one of the biggest companies in Spain, the biggest communications company, Telefonica, has proposed mass layoffs affecting over 6,000 staff in Spain. Telefonica has proposed a collective redundancy plan that would cut 6,088 jobs across 7 of its subsidiaries in Spain, roughly 1 in 3 employees in the affected divisions. The figures emerged gradually as negotiation tables were formed this week. The main unions, the UGT and the CCOO, insist that cuts must be voluntary and carried out through early retirements, as in the previous redundancy plans earlier this year, which ended with far fewer dismissals than initially planned. Unions are also seeking guarantees on working conditions, salary reviews, and the right to remote work until 2030. Telefonica justifies the layoffs on organizational, technical, and production grounds. The most affected subsidiary is Telefonica de España, 3,649 jobs, 41% of its workforce. The proposal has sparked political criticism. The Ministry of Labour called the plan indecent for a profitable company partly owned with public funds. Investors, however, reacted positively, with shares rising 2%. And that's basically where we are at with this. The market is in favour of Telefonica slashing those 6,000 jobs. But the Labour Ministry, led by Yolanda Díaz and company, not so much, because of course Telefonica is making a profit and they don't see the logic behind companies that make profits sacking 6,000 people or laying off 6,000 people. The unions, as we saw there, would like a nice cushy pre-retirement plan for the workers, getting paid until they reach retirement age. And let's be honest, if I was in Telefonica, I would probably prefer that option as well, but don't know whether it's going to happen. So the biggest telecommunications company in Spain, the former state-owned Telefonica, getting rid of 6,000 people if they get the okay, of course, which is another thing they might not get. Some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times by viewers. We'll have a look at what's been bubbling away in that comment section. This one here from Blu-ray Fan 66. Have only seen a couple of €10 Menú del Días in the Torrevieja area, but not in the busier areas. 12 to 16 euros is more common, but then again, Torrevieja is full of people from outside Spain with a little money probably. I am sure there are plenty of 10 euro menus in quieter towns and locations around Spain. And speaking of the 10 euro menu you had the other day, Stuart, what an absolute bargain. Can't even get a Big Mac meal for that. And more importantly, you are supporting local business and Spanish people. Good on you. Thanks, Blu-ray fan, for the comment there, answering the question that somebody posed the other day about the cheaper Menú del Día options in places like Torrevieja. But Blu-ray pointing out there, of course, that a big foreign population in Torrevieja, meaning that people might have more purchasing power. And the menus are quite pricey, 12 to 16. Well, I don't know whether it's pricey or not, 12 to 16 euros for a three-course meal, but the price of a Big Mac, that's another interesting question there. What's the limit for the Big Mac, or the Mac menu, as they call it here, or the Mac meal? Don't know, 10, 12, 15 euros? It's getting expensive, that is for sure. So, yeah, we'll see if it does become more expensive than the traditional Menú del Día, or whether the traditional Menú del Día here in Spain will survive going forward. Again, don't know. Time will tell. Another comment here from Eddie. The housing crisis is a result of poor foresight and planning by governments. It's become an issue in most developed countries. Thank you very much, Eddie, for the comment. A slight pause there. I had to blow my nose. It was getting a little bit blocked. And I reckon Eddie is spot on with the comment there, that the housing crisis currently in Spain, Australia, wherever there's a housing crisis, has been caused by, as Eddie puts it, poor foresight and planning by governments. Always blame the governments for these things, because those are the organisations and they are the people that are supposed to be fixing these problems, providing housing for people that need it, cheap housing for people that need it as well, and also making sure that you have a viable property market. But it's coming to light now that Spain's 2007 or 2008 financial crisis, where all of the construction was virtually paralysed for a long time, is having consequences on the market today also. So thanks, Eddie, for the comment. Another one here from Andrea. Young people are generally idealists with what those who are longing for a more autocratic government in Spain may be reacting to as a system that they perceive as overly permissive. Add to that, they see government tainted and stifled by corruption. The pendulum swings from left to right and back again because both are flawed. Thank you very much, Andrea, for the comment, and you might be onto something there as well. Both systems are flawed, whether it's the system that we currently have, the so-called democratic system, where we are able to exercise certain rights, or the more autocratic or authoritarian system that Spain had back in the day, where there was no voting back in the day. People didn't have an opinion. People couldn't influence the decisions of the regime at the time. Did whatever they wanted, and people had to, of course, accept that. Some people liked it. Some people liked not having to think. Some people liked not having to take decisions on a daily basis. Easy. Just let the government decide for you. Would we want to go back to that system? I don't know. Some people seem to think that it would be better. But as Andrea points out here, young people are idealists. Thanks for the comment, Andrea. Another one here from Weebs. Maybe the solution isn't building more housing. There seems to be a lot of small towns with plenty of affordable housing 30 to 40 minutes away from the coast. So a possible solution could be to create affordable housing and fast transportation between these towns and the coast. Just my 2 cents worth. Thanks, Weebs, for the comment. A lot of people seem to like this comment, thought that it could be a good idea to get people into housing where it's cheaper and provide transport options to places where they need to be working. Sounds like a very simple solution. Why hasn't it been done before? Well, the answer is, I don't know. I've got no idea. But obviously it's expensive to provide infrastructure, to put in train lines or highways and things like that. And is it the solution? I don't know. Maybe the price in areas like that will also start to go through the roof and people will be priced out of those areas as well. I don't know. But it is true, as this person says here, that there are plenty of affordable housing 30 to 40 minutes away from the coast. But nobody wants to live in those villages for whatever reason. Maybe you need to put a lot of services into those villages or towns to get people to live there. Don't know. If anyone has a better idea than me, let us know in the comment or the chat section, please. Another one here from who's this? OM Barcelona. Great video. To add to this with friendships, don't expect friends to come to your house or be invited to theirs. Meetings often happen outside home spaces unless you are considered family. So cafes, bars, parks, sitting on a neighborhood park bench, etc. A lot of friends think this is weird because they are used to bringing friends to their home to hang out. Some said they even took this as offensive. Is this just the Barcelona thing? No, it is not a Barcelona thing. I think this is a common issue all over Spain, that homes are for family, basically. You don't invite your friends over to your home. Maybe when you're kids you do. I know from experience here, we're quite open. We invite our friends to come in here and there's no dramas. But I've had friends here for 30 years. I have never been to the parents' home. Even when these people were living at their parents' home, it just wasn't a thing. This person's spot on. You would meet in a park. You would meet in a coffee shop. You would meet in a bar. But you would never be invited up to the family home. Why? No idea. But different customs, different ways of doing things here in Spain. And that's the situation. Another comment here from DJ H. Is La Comida considered resting calm time? Or am I mixing things up? Love these small snippets of daily knowledge. Another nose blow break there. Thanks for the comment. This was a post that I have been doing quite a lot of in recent times on the community tab, putting different questions. And one today was about Spanish lunchtime. I think the question was something like, what's the time for lunch here in Spain? Of course, 2 to 3 is the answer. And is the comida, as this person DJ8 suggests, resting or calm time? Depends where you are. If you're in a small city and you've got time to rest after your lunch, maybe you've got 2 hours for lunch. 2 to 3 normally would be the time. If you're working in an office in a big city, you might have an hour for lunch. But if you're working in a retail business, maybe in a smaller town or city here in Spain, you might get 2 or 3 hours for your lunch break, and it is considered that resting time. You might eat lunch from 2 to 3, then from 3 to 4, you might have a bit of a nap. 40 winks, as they say, watch the TV, and then get up, prepare yourself again for your afternoon working session. That's normally the way it works in smaller towns, I would say. Here in the big city, it doesn't necessarily happen. Transport is the big issue. Getting from one place to another, commuting times are too large. But if you're living in a small regional capital where it's only 5, 10, 15 minutes from your home, maybe that's what you're doing. But again, in big cities, I don't think that's the norm anymore. But again, I could be wrong. If I am, let me know in the comment section. Live chat time. We're going to go into the live chat, see what's bubbling away there. The backdrop picture is already prominent, so we'll get that on the screen here without my ugly mug in the way. This photo was sent in here by Alan. TOL is his AKA on the channel, Uncle Al. Sometime a resident of El Puerto de Santa Maria down there in Cádiz, and this photo taken from that area I think it was a sunset, if I'm not mistaken, over the salt fields of El Puerto, which is apparently a tourist destination as well down there in the south of Spain. Thanks, Al, for sending the picture through. And if you've got a similar picture you would like to see on the backdrop, the email address is on the screen now, spainspeaks@gmail.com. Feel free to send your photos through to that email address, spainspeaks@gmail.com. Lots of photos have come through in recent times. Thank you very much. And if you've got more, send them through, because the live streams depend on the viewer interaction, and photos from viewers is one way to get their pieces of art, if you like, their works of art, their photos on the backdrop here. And whether it's a sunset like the one that we have here, or a coastal shot like we've seen in recent times, a mountain shot, whatever, if you think the photo is worthy, send it through to that email address. And anything else that you would like to send my way also, feel free to send it through to that email address, spainspeaks@gmail.com. People that have supported the channel in recent times, buy me a coffee, super thanks, Patreon. Thank you very much for that support also. Greatly appreciated. And also the channel members of this YouTube channel, thank you very much for that support too. Thank you very much. Now, I'm going to go into the live chat. Let me get this one off the screen now if I can. And also, I forgot to mention this also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, why not? It's free. If you like what I do, if you like the channel, if you want to be part of the community here, subscribe. Turn on notifications. Won't cost you a cent. Thank you very much for that also. Now into the live chat. Let's see if I can get through the live chat. Hopefully it won't be too long. Very short live chat from what I can see here. I'll be through this in no time. Barbara's in the chat here quickly. Coming in from Benidorm on a 4-day bargain break. Full board, wine and water for €199. Has been 20 degrees today, but 17 tomorrow. Good one, Barbara. Enjoying life down there in Benidorm for €199. High Flyer John is also in the chat, coming in from a chilly Essex, UK. Have a great week. Thanks, John, for that. James and Kathy coming in from a fabulously sunny Worcester. Had a log delivery and went for a crisp, bright walk. Due to be freezing tonight. I imagine. Cold nights, right? Also here. Amanda's coming in from Shropshire, UK. Hoping everyone is well. Good to see you, Amanda. Johnny's in the chat too. Valued member coming in from San Diego. Good to see you, Johnny. Renan is in the chat section here as well. Coming in from LA. Just up the road from San Diego, right? LA. Los Angeles, San Diego, San Francisco. That Spanish influence, of course, in California. At PO, saying, hi there, good day, good to see you. At PO. Larry coming in from Tazacorte in the Canaries. Good to see you, Larry, regular viewer as well. Flutter Girl is coming in here from Toronto. Madrid Airport is lovely, but hectic, very hectic. Says Flutter Girl. Yes, it is a hectic airport. It's a busy, hectic airport. That is true. That is true. Bronny coming in from Wales. Currently clear skies there. 4 degrees. South Wales, that is. Hope you feel better. Best wishes. Thanks, Bronny, for that. Hopefully I'll get over this cold quickly. The symptoms will remain stable. And it will only be a head cold. Hopefully that will be the case. You never know. You never know. Jose is in the question here. What about the homes built before the crash? Why not spend the money to finish them better? What's that? Something level. Don't know what that word is there. Habitational level. Can't understand that word. But thanks, Jose, for the comment. Yeah, lots of empty homes still around the place from that 2007 crash. They're in places where people don't want to live, basically, Jose. Places where they were built and people do want to live. For example, here where I am, they were gone years ago. But the ones that still sit there as empty shells, it's because nobody wants to live there. I reckon that would be the simple answer. El Conquistador trying to catch more live broadcasts when they're playing live. Don't shut it down. Homeboy. Thanks for that, El Conquistador. I'm considering cutting back on the live streams, to be honest. I'm considering cutting back. I don't think it's worth my while. I could put out other videos that would be more worth my while. I like the community spirit of the live stream, so I'm trying to think of something new to do. But it's becoming an issue because YouTube is creating back-end problems. The videos are not processing. It's wasting my time, basically. But we'll see. We'll see. Habitational is the word here from Jose. What was the word there before? Habitational. Thanks for that, Jose, for clarifying that. Linda's coming in from the San Francisco Bay Area. So we've had the Californian coast watching this evening. San Diego, LA, and now San Francisco. And Wilson coming in from Madrid, but lives in Austin, Texas. So a real US feel this evening for the live stream. Now I'm going to cut it short because my nose is getting more and more blocked as I sit here this evening. I won't be able to continue for much longer. Thursday, no live stream. Back again on Sunday. I might put out another type of video on Thursday. We'll see. Depends on my time constraints, whether I've got the time or not to do it. If you've got anything you want to add to this conversation, please, the comment section is now the place for you. Until the next live stream on Sunday, hasta luego, hasta entonces, adios, and bye-bye. Oh.